You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruining your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit. And they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
Which people forget this was a franchise. It's a couple books.
The whole thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah, especially a guy like that. It was like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
And then it's like, all right,
dude, he posted the receipts.
Oh,
he's like, oh, remember our text exchange?
How about she told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding? And then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone usually just bows down.
Because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds, A-list, Blake Lively, A-list. Like, they're the queens.
That's like eating.
Oh.
Joe Rogan just dropped a jaw-dropping revelation about Blake Lively that has Hollywood spinning. During a recent podcast episode, what began as casual chatter took a dark turn when Rogan exposed shocking details about her relationship with Ryan Reynolds, details that insiders have been scrambling to contain. The real shocker? Rogan backed up his claims with evidence linking Blake to a secret connection with Justin Baldoni. Now, her once polished public image is unraveling fast, and the fallout is threatening to derail everything she's built.
Daily Mail is now coming forward and saying the real truth, the heartbreaking truth behind the dramatic look is this. The father of two unveiled his new surprising look last week, shortly after admitting he was exhausted from a year of emotional stress. He's been spending time with his children in Hawaii with his wife, and he debuted this edgy haircut, stark contrast from his character in the movie. Now, sources have revealed after struggling with the huge toll on his physical and mental health, Baldoni was prompted to make big changes. Justin's physical and mental well-being was severely impacted by this. An insider told Daily Mail it's extremely disturbing for him to look back at photos of himself from last summer when all this was going on. Now, look, I can relate to this. I'm sure a lot of you watching can. When you need a change to your emotional state and being and you're stuck, a haircut can actually really do that. If you have your typical look and you actually shave it off or grow it out or dye it or do something crazy to it, it really can change your point of view of, okay, we're starting a new phase. We're doing something else. For the longest time, I had a ponytail through high school. And then I had a moment. It was a very traumatic, emotional moment for me. And I made a point to cut it all off. I was like, I got to cut this off. I got to start.
Did you catch what Joe Rogan really said about Blake Lively on his podcast? If you only skimmed the headlines, you probably missed it. But episode number 1984 of the Joe Rogan Experience delivered revelations that sent shockwaves through Hollywood's most powerful circles. What began as a lighthearted chat about celebrity power couples took a sharp and unexpected turn when the conversation shifted to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. AT first, it was innocent enough. Rogan and his guests were talking about how certain Hollywood couples always seem picture perfect. Naturally, Blake and Ryan came up, the red carpet darlings who finish each other's sentences, post cheeky Instagram banter, and appear to be the epitome of marital harmony. But just as the conversation lulled into familiar territory, Rogan lowered his voice and said something that stopped the show cold. Asterisk, I've seen some stuff that would change how everyone views that relationship. Asterisk Rogan claimed he had seen private text messages from Blake Lively, messages sent to her team, leaked to him by industry insiders. These texts, he said, painted a vastly different picture than the one the public sees. According to Rogan, Blake has been privately voicing her frustration for years, especially about being constantly overshadowed by Ryan's ever-rising career. One text in particular, he recalled, hit hard. Asterisk, I can't keep living in his shadow while pretending everything's perfect. Asterisk, this wasn't just another celebrity anecdote. It was a revelation with major implications. The timing made it all the more explosive. Rogan's podcast dropped while Blake was reportedly dealing with on-set tension during her latest project. Suddenly, those vague murmurs of creative conflict and uncooperative behavior began to make a lot more sense. Rogan emphasized that these weren't just isolated complaints. The messages reportedly offered insight into a deeper personal and professional crisis, one that had been playing out behind the scenes for years. Within hours, clips from the episode were all over social media. Twitter exploded with takes. Instagram lit up with reaction videos. TikTok creators began dissecting every second of Rogan's commentary like it was a criminal investigation. The episode shot to the top of podcast charts, becoming the most downloaded of the month. And Hollywood? It went into absolute panic mode. Sources close to the situation revealed that Blake's PR team immediately scrambled to do damage control. Desperate calls were made to journalists. Exclusive interviews were allegedly offered to major media outlets in exchange for positive spins, all in an effort to counter Rogan's claims before they became cemented in the public's mind. But just when it seemed like things might settle, Rogan delivered another blow, one even more damning than the first. He claimed that the texts not only revealed Blake's personal frustrations, but also exposed a calculated career strategy. According to what Rogan's sources told him, Blake had been strategically using Ryan's fame to promote her own projects, all while maintaining the public image of being self-made. Asterisk, she's playing both sides. Asterisk, Rogan said. Asterisk, she's using Ryan's connections and influence when it helps her, but still insists she's built everything on her own. Asterisk, that statement reframed years of their public appearances. Every cute social media post. Every shared interview. Every award show photo op. What once seemed like genuine couple synergy suddenly looked like a finely tuned PR campaign, and the implication was clear. Blake's brand, the one built on being effortlessly charming, witty, independent, may not be as authentic as people believed. Now, fans and insiders alike are rewatching old clips with fresh eyes, wondering how much was real and how much was image management. And more importantly, what else is hiding behind the curtain?
He does seem like a nice guy to a lot of people. Sure, he's clearly got this darker side where he wants to have control of his projects, but in a weird way, I with Deadpool, the way he took over Deadpool, I kind of understand where he went, and it seems like he did make amends with Tim Miller, from what I've gathered. So I'm not on the hate Ryan Reynolds train like everybody else, because he may being fed something else. He may, when he took over Deadpool, that really was his character, his voice. Like, he has to own that. Now, I think he could have treated Tim Miller better. Of course, I think Tim Miller would admit that as well. But from what I've gathered, Tim Miller is apparently good with all of it. Tim Miller doesn't want to be involved in any of this nonsense. And Tim Miller's not jumping up and down, jumping and saying that, yes, let's torch Ryan Reynolds. Look what he did to me. So I'm not as mad at him. I know everybody else is, and you guys can be, but I'm still hung up on this idea of, like, why is he buying this? Why is he allowed to go? Now, she's the mother of his children. So yeah, that's a fair reason. He's in love with her. They've been together for quite some time. They are seemingly committed to their things. They talk all the time, yada, yada, yada. He is a loyal guy, apparently, unless you're shooting Green Lantern and you're with Scarlett Johansson. But aside from all that, the rumors even there were that she didn't want to have kids, and he did. And so, look, is Ryan Reynolds really that stupid? This is the question I'm asking you.
Those carefully staged couple moments were only the tip of the iceberg. Behind the glossy, envy-inducing relationship of Hollywood's golden couple lies a power dynamic that's far more complicated and far more unsettling than anyone imagined. According to the revelations from Joe Rogan's now infamous podcast episode, it's not Ryan Reynolds, the Deadpool star with the $1 million grin, who holds the reins in the Reynolds lively household. It's Blake. And she's been pulling the strings all along. Let's be honest. Most of us bought into the illusion. The matching Instagram posts, the cheeky interviews, the lighthearted roasting on talk shows, it all painted a picture of a balanced, loving partnership. But according to insiders who've worked closely with the couple, the reality behind the scenes tells a very different story. Production staff from at least 3 different film sets have come forward, describing a tense and controlling atmosphere whenever Blake and Ryan were both involved in a project. And it wasn't Ryan dominating the room. The power imbalance is impossible to miss, one source told Rogan. When they're in joint meetings, it's Blake who takes control. She cuts him off, overrides his suggestions, and often steers the entire discussion, especially when execs are present. This allegedly controlling behavior doesn't stop at the studio gates. Rogan claimed that Blake's influence stretches deep into Ryan's personal decisions as well. One insider revealed that she routinely reviews his potential film roles and has vetoed several that would have paired him with actresses she viewed as competition. In fact, 2 A-list actresses were reportedly dropped from one of Ryan's biggest franchises after Blake raised concerns, further fueling speculation about how far her influence goes. Even the adorable antics we've seen over the years now seem to carry a different tone. Remember when Ryan joked about being banished to the couch, or when Blake cropped him out of photos for a laugh? What used to look like harmless fun now seems more like calculated power plays, subtle reminders of who really runs the show behind the scenes. But perhaps the most startling claims came from former assistants who worked inside the couple's home. One told Rogan that Blake exercises tight control over nearly every aspect of Ryan's public life, from his press appearances to his wardrobe, even down to his haircuts. There were times, the assistant said, when he'd have to text Blake from press events to double-check his responses, just to make sure they were on brand for the couple's image. And Ryan? According to Rogan sources, he's been quietly confiding in close friends about how restricted he feels. He loves her, one friend reportedly told Rogan, but he's tired of how much control she has. It's like every move has to be pre-approved. Some believe this could explain why Ryan has increasingly shifted focus to business ventures, areas where Blake has less direct influence and where he can finally carve out some independence. Even Blake's media strategy has come under scrutiny. Rogan's team reportedly viewed text messages between Blake and her publicists, coordinating press coverage to paint her as a powerhouse in her own right while still benefiting from Ryan's massive popularity. One message read, *, we need to push the independent career narrative while still getting the couple boost. *, another outlined tactics to tie her projects to their relationship subtly, without making it look like she was riding his coattails. SO, is Hollywood's most beloved couple really a love story, or a meticulously engineered power structure? According to Rogan and his insider sources, Blake is the one calling the shots, carefully crafting their public image while maintaining tight control over the personal and professional narrative. It's a revelation that has many fans and insiders looking at the Reynolds lively brand in a completely different light.
This clip where Brandon Schraub and Joe Rogan are talking about the Justin Baldoni case.
Wild. You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruining your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
Which people forget this was a franchise. It's a couple books.
Fuck,
the whole thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah, especially a guy like that who's like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
And then it's like, all right,
dude,
enough.
He posted the receipts.
Oh,
he's like, oh,
receipts
remember our text exchange? Bah, bah,
how about
bah,
she told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding, and then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone usually just bows down.
Because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds, A-list, Blake Lively, A-list. Like, they're the queens.
That's like eating.
Oh.
That's it. He gets interrupted, but I would love to hear Joe keep going on that because it's such a good point. Yeah. Look, we're learning that with our documentary. A lot of people are afraid to come forward and afraid to speak out.
Beyond the walls of her marriage, Blake Lively's need for control has reportedly bled into her professional life, and the fallout has been anything but subtle. The public unraveling of It Ends With Us wasn't merely the result of creative disagreements. It was, according to Joe Rogan sources, a case study in manipulation. What was supposed to be Blake's triumphant emergence from the shadow of Gossip Girl and Ryan Reynolds became a cautionary tale about behind-the-scenes sabotage. Initially, the project seemed like the perfect vehicle for Blake to rebrand herself. A gritty, emotional role, a built-in fan base from the best-selling novel, and a co-star/director in Justin Baldoni with a track record for handling sensitive material. But insiders now claim Blake didn't just play the lead. She tried to take over the production itself. 3 crew members who worked closely with both Blake and Justin told Rogan's team that the set quickly turned tense, with Blake routinely undermining Baldoni's authority. She would show up each morning with a list of script changes, one source shared. And if Justin pushed back, she'd pull rank as a producer and demand they be implemented anyway. Tension spiked most intensely during the film's romantic scenes. According to a camera operator, Blake essentially assumed the role of intimacy coordinator, controlling lighting, angles, even choreography between takes. She'd shut down entire scenes if Justin wasn't positioning himself the way she wanted, even if it matched the agreed blocking from rehearsal. The situation became even more complicated when Rogan's sources obtained private messages from Blake, sent during filming. In them, she expressed frustration with Justin's direction. "He keeps trying to tell me how to play Lily. I am Lily," one message allegedly read. Another stated, "Make sure people know I'm uncomfortable with how he's handling these scenes." But according to multiple witnesses, the narrative she spun afterward contradicted what actually happened. One production assistant told Rogan she told Justin to make it real during rehearsal. Then when he did exactly that, she accused him of crossing a line. It was bizarre. The result? A divided set. Crew members were forced to pick sides. "People were scared to even be seen speaking with Justin," said a lighting technician. "If you were friendly with him, suddenly you'd be reassigned to background work." When filming wrapped, Blake allegedly flipped the entire story in private conversations with producers and industry allies. Suddenly Justin was the difficult one. The one who didn't listen, who made her uncomfortable, a producer close to the film told Rogan. It was the exact opposite of what we saw. For those who've observed Blake's behavior over the years, this wasn't surprising. She needs to be in control, a longtime colleague told Rogan. And when someone challenges that, whether it's her husband or her director, she finds a way to reframe the narrative. That same need for control, Rogan claims, extends to her and Ryan's family image, a public relations machine presented as humble privacy, but allegedly operated with ruthless precision. Blake and Ryan have built their public personas on the idea of being fiercely private, protective parents. They don't post photos of their kids. They slam the paparazzi. They avoid public appearances with their children. It all reads like a masterclass in boundary setting. If it weren't so calculated, Rogan sources, including former members of the couple's PR team, say those seemingly spontaneous moments of vulnerability are anything but. There's a documented strategy for how they handle family announcements, one former publicist claimed. They decide when and how to reveal information about their children based on what's happening with their careers. Take Blake's most recent pregnancy announcement. It happened just weeks before one of Ryan's blockbuster releases. Coincidence? Not likely, according to Rogan sources. These moments are coordinated months in advance. They're meant to dominate headlines, build goodwill, and deflect from negative press. What makes it so effective, Rogan noted, is the illusion of restraint. They never share too much, just enough to spark media attention. It's what marketing experts now call privacy theater, a curated performance of discretion that still manages to land them on magazine covers. In one alleged text reviewed by Rogan's team, Blake discusses timing a family outing to support an upcoming project. "We need this to drop exactly 2 weeks before opening weekend," the message read. Enough time for the story to build, not fade. Another source revealed that Ryan's now famous moment of casually revealing their daughter's name during a talk show wasn't a slip. It was time to generate buzz for a film release. Even the couple's rare red carpet appearances with their children follow this pattern. 3 of their 4 pregnancy announcements aligned perfectly with promotional campaigns, a media analyst confirmed. Their so-called private moments have a habit of showing up when one of their businesses needs a visibility boost. Former entertainment insiders described it as an elaborate playbook, a literal list of family cards to play when the narrative needs a soft reset. Baby name reveal. Candid anecdote about parenting. Rare family photo. It's all weaponized, one source said. They deploy these moments when their brand is under threat. And it works. Every time negative headlines creep up, Whether it's tension on a film set, lukewarm reviews, or social media backlash, some heartwarming story about their kids hits the press. The result? The couple's image remains largely untarnished, cloaked in relatability and affection. But when viewed through the lens of Rogan's revelations, the carefully preserved facade begins to crack. The picture-perfect marriage, the sweet parenting moments, the wholesome banter, it's all part of a deeply coordinated brand. According to Rogan and his sources, Blake isn't just an actress or a wife. She's the architect of a media empire. And behind every charming moment is a calculated strategy, executed with the precision of a Hollywood power broker. The public may have been sold a fairy tale, but the reality, it seems, is a far more strategic and far more controlling operation than anyone realized.
Spot on. Brandon and Joe are spot on, and it's just encouraging to see more big personalities, outlets, celebrities just talking about it realistically and not the way Blake and Hollywood is trying to spin it, which a lot in Hollywood are. Now, clearly Joe's not afraid. He says what he wants. He always has. But still, it's still a massive, big platform. And to see him out there talking about it honestly and actually sharing the proper facts can't help Blake and Ryan. They must not like seeing such big personalities and people with so much sway, but being out there calling it out for what it is, because let's be honest, Hollywood doesn't like that. They don't like us being honest. They don't like us telling you the truth. They try to to massage everything into their narratives, right? And that's what these big A-list stars, as Joe's implying, do. Ryan and Blake, as we know, we're trying to cover this up. Ari Emanuel, all these people trying to keep this up and say, oh yeah, believe the woman, believe Blake, she's telling the truth. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So kudos to Joe and Brandon for bringing this out. It's nice to see them out there doing it for the boys. Yeah, well, doing it for all of it, I would say. Doing it for all of us. Because, again, abuse shows no gender, as we learned with Johnny Depp. Women can be bad. Men can be bad. Yeah, we should listen to everybody. If they got a complaint, if you're going to come forward and make this complaint, you want to assume they're not lying and making stuff up. But sometimes they're over-exaggerating and such, as I think is happening in this situation.
Those perfectly timed family moments might fool the public, but they couldn't fool Hollywood forever. Something has shifted in the industry, and fast. Once protected by an impenetrable wall of admiration, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds now find themselves watching that wall collapse in real time. Former friends, colleagues, and longtime collaborators are quietly stepping away, no longer willing to prop up the carefully curated image of Hollywood's golden couple. For years, Blake and Ryan seemed untouchable. Co-stars and collaborators lined up to sing their praises, with interviews following an eerily similar script, stories of harmless pranks, glowing compliments, and reverence for their talent and kindness. But according to Joe Rogan's sources, that universal acclaim wasn't earned organically, it was engineered. Behind the scenes, the couple allegedly operated a high-level web of favors, veiled threats, and reputation management that rivaled a political campaign. The dam finally burst when a prop master from one of Blake's early films spoke out, claiming she demanded his firing over something as trivial as bringing the wrong shade of lipstick to set. That single incident opened the floodgates. Within days, 3 more crew members stepped forward with their own accounts. Tales of explosive reactions over coffee temperatures, lighting setups she didn't find flattering, or minor costume details. The whispers turned into full-blown conversations in Hollywood's backrooms. Casting directors who once vied to work with Blake and Ryan are now allegedly warning one another about their behavior. One casting professional told Rogan that Blake maintains a so-called never again list, a blacklist of over 50 names including makeup artists, costume designers, and assistants who've crossed her or failed to meet her expectations. More disturbing still are the private mentorship conversations happening among veteran actresses. One award-winning performer told Rogan she had personally advised for promising young actresses to decline roles opposite Blake. If you have natural chemistry with Ryan, or if your performance overshadows hers, your scenes mysteriously get cut in editing, she warned. Blake's fashion brand has also taken a hit. While she has long marketed herself as her own stylist, a fashion icon who handpicks every red carpet look, industry insiders now paint a different picture. According to several award-winning stylists, Blake has taken credit for their work for years. They describe stolen mood boards, uncredited concept pitches, and NDAs so strict they were never allowed to correct the public narrative. And then there's the matter of her disappearing celebrity friendships. Once a fixture in group photos with A-listers, birthday tributes, and cozy vacations with Hollywood's elite, Blake and Ryan's inner circle has noticeably shrunk. Social media analysts have tracked a staggering 78% drop in interactions between the couple and their high-profile friends over the last 8 months. Former friends have quietly stopped tagging them in posts, declined joint appearances, and subtly avoid bringing them up in interviews. Behind this celebrity exodus lies the most damaging revelation of all: the private messages that were never meant to see the light of day. According to Rogan, he's seen alleged text exchanges that expose a side of Blake the public never sees. What makes these messages so devastating isn't just what's said, but how thoroughly they contradict the image Blake has spent years perfecting. These aren't casual venting sessions. They're methodical, tactical communications, detailing calculated steps to dominate co-stars and manipulate the public narrative. In one reported exchange, Blake allegedly outlines a plan to overshadow a female co-star's press tour by releasing carefully timed personal news to steal headlines. These messages also point to a private network, a group of stylists, publicists, and even fellow celebrities who allegedly work with Blake to control how she's portrayed in the media. According to sources close to Rogan, this circle helps orchestrate social media posts, plant favorable stories, and shift blame when things go wrong. The level of competition is unnerving. One insider told Rogan that Blake keeps detailed notes on every major actress in her age bracket, tracking their press cycles, roles, and perceived weaknesses. She doesn't just follow them, the source said. She studies them, and she uses what she finds. Allegedly, she's been involved in subtle smear campaigns, from planting unflattering gossip to influencing casting decisions through back-channel industry relationships. Even more disturbing are the claims about how the couple uses their children. While Blake and Ryan have long promoted themselves as fiercely protective parents who guard their kids' privacy, the private messages suggest something different entirely. Rogan sources claim Blake meticulously plans when and how to share family details to serve their public image. One message allegedly read, *, save the youngest for the summer campaign. We'll need something big when the reviews come out. *, and the control doesn't stop there. According to Rogan sources, Blake even scripts Ryan's public comments about their marriage. In multiple messages, she allegedly directs what anecdotes he should share in interviews, what tone to take, and how to frame her in the most flattering light. Those spontaneous feeling social media pranks between the couple? They're reportedly staged and rehearsed, designed to maintain an illusion of playful authenticity. This mountain of behind-the-scenes manipulation now threatens to topple the couple's carefully constructed empire. What started as a few revealing comments on a podcast has snowballed into a full-blown image crisis. With insiders coming forward, friendships falling apart, and a growing awareness of the calculated machinery behind their brand, the cracks in the Reynolds lively fairy tale are impossible to ignore. The big question now is, can they recover? Will fans ever again see those heartwarming Instagram posts or surprise baby announcements as genuine? Or will every move be met with doubt, every quote picked apart for hidden motives? As Hollywood turns its gaze elsewhere and their inner circle grows quieter, one thing is becoming painfully clear. The Reynolds lively brand may never be seen the same way again. The facade is cracking, and what lies beneath is far less perfect than the world was led to believe.